Well, welcome Shenandoah to my weekly Facebook update. We've been doing this since late March. I felt as if communication was such a vital thing in those early days of really having to go to online church. And so we decided that 2 times a week I'd come to you by way of Facebook. It's usually been on a Tuesday and then again on a Friday. But I feel as if now that we're coming into July and we're reopening, and what a great Sunday. Let me just thank you again for coming this past Sunday. And it was so good to see a fairly full house. The balcony was opened up again, and a lot of folks came, and it was a great patriotic service, and we enjoyed being together. But my point is I feel as if we're coming back now, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, to regular in-person services. These weekly updates might not be as important. And I don't want to say it that these weren't important. I just don't want you to rely on this for your means of information. I want you to be in church, hearing the announcements and feeling the spirit of the people of God. And obviously we're still doing Facebook and YouTube and all of that, but we're going to kind of transition away from everything being online to being more in person, like I believe God intended it to be. So we're going to take this Facebook update back to 1 time a week. And it'll probably show on Thursday or Friday of each week. And I'm going to do a few different things. I want to throw a little variety into it. And that's why we have Brother Harris here with me and on this update today. And I'll have some various others of our assistant pastors. And I just felt like it would be a way for you to get to know and hear another voice of another man on staff. And then we'll talk a little bit about their particular ministries, kind of what's going on. And I've chosen Brother Harris, obviously, for a couple of reasons. He is what we call our associate pastor, meaning he brings experience. And I think that means you're old, is what that really means, Brother Harris.
Okay with that.
But all of these years of experience that he brings in the ministry. Of course, he's only been on our staff for a little less than a year, but he really is my right hand. And so I wanted to start with him. And then also, because our bus ministry is opening up this Sunday, I felt like we could talk about that as well. So I have just a couple of things that he and I are going to banter back and forth on, and I'll ask him a question or two, and then we'll kind of go back and forth and just to allow Brother Harris to share his heart. My first question, Brother Jeff, I guess, is just what's this transition been like? It's not quite been a year. This time a year ago, we were really talking about plans, and it was the Lord leading you this way and opening up the opportunity to come here to Shenandoah. But what's it been to transition not only from Canada, secondly from a long-time ministry, but then to actually be here at Shenandoah? So give me your thoughts about how that's worked in your mind.
Well, it's really been basically twofold. It's gone a whole lot smoother than what I thought it would. If you were to, and you know this from being in the ministry for 18 years and then transitioning into a different ministry, once you're someplace for a long period of time, you can't really see yourself being any place other than there.
Absolutely.
So you would assume that transition would be very difficult, or it wouldn't be very smooth. But it's been wonderful. We've had no difficulties in transitioning from that ministry in Canada to here. It's been a little bit different, trying to figure out your daily schedule.
Absolutely.
What you would normally do as a senior pastor.
Absolutely.
And transitioning into more of an assistant role.
Yeah. And let me jump in here. That really is why I hired you. Because of your years of being a senior pastor, and really you felt that was coming to an end anyway in your own life and ministry.
Yes.
But you did that for so long. You know what goes on my side of the desk. You understand the decisions that a pastor has to make, and really you have been a help to me. You have helped to bear my load. And that was, again, a main reason of bringing you here. So, and let me just say to Shenandoah, Brother and Mrs. Harris both, they have such a servant heart. They would do anything that is asked of them, and over and beyond, and just trying to find a way to be a blessing. I love that about you all, and sure appreciate that about you. So, So Canada, how's it been different coming from Canada to the U.S.? Obviously, you were a U.S. citizen, grew up here, but
wouldn't you know I would come back in the year of 2020, where some people would say, "Why did you come back in 2020?" For me, it's been fantastically wonderful. I have looked forward to coming back. In fact, here recently, with all of the stuff that's going on, sometimes it's for such a time as this. And so you kind of wonder, why did the Lord bring me when he did? But being an American and growing up in America, and in fact, I've been saying here recently, my two favorite holidays have always been Thanksgiving and July the 4th.
Okay.
And this year was a little bit difficult because this is my first year back for July the 4th, and I'm so looking forward to it, and the parades and the fireworks and all of those types of things. And then we had COVID-19 and then all the craziness that's going on in the world. Right. But my heart has been thrilled. In fact, for me, I don't pay a lot of attention to what's going on in Canada. When I was in Canada, it came to the spot where I had to kind of shut down what was going on in the U.S., kind of focus. And they taught us that in Bible college, in missions classes. You know, they said you have to become a part of the culture.
Absolutely.
You can't change their culture. You've got to become a part of their culture.
That's true.
And so we did that. And so I was so much looking forward to come back, and almost in tears on Sunday hearing the music. God Bless America, to be able to sing that again. But probably I'm only one of two people in my neighborhood on my street that has a flag flying, but I'm flying my flag because I just absolutely love being home, being back in the U.S., and this is my home, my country, and just absolutely love it.
Amen. I was teasing Mrs. Harris on Sunday at the picnic, and obviously she is Canadian. But she has spent many years in the States. She came to Bible college in Indiana. Of course, was in Ohio for a couple of years. Was in West Virginia before you went to Canada. But she has made such a great transition. She was a Canadian that was all dressed in red, white, and blue on this past Sunday, and obviously Mrs. Harris loves America as well. Let's talk about the bus ministry.
Okay.
Amongst many of the duties I've given to you to just help me and behind the scenes stuff, probably the biggest ministry, public ministry I've delegated to you is the bus ministry. And obviously our bus ministry has had a lot of transition in the last 7 years. We've had various bus directors that, some have been here just for a short period and then they've gone off to pastor and such. But, I wanted Brother Harris, and I feel like Brother Harris is in the vein of Brother Mike Bajent. And I don't know that you would say that about yourself, but I believe that about you. You have that spirit, the Brother Mike spirit. And he has taken the bus ministry and just said, okay, we're in a rebuilding time. And obviously, end of 2019, you were just trying to get a feel for it and with the workers and routes, and then COVID hits, and then what's been 4 months since we've run our buses. Right. So first of all, what's that been like? Just that's one ministry you're directing, and then it just kind of gets taken away from you. And maybe even talk about what our workers have felt during this time. Well,
again, it's like with all of us, we're just trying to figure it out. None of us know church, Facebook. Right. We scrambled, trying to figure out how we're going to make a connection, how we're going to keep a connection. And I think all of us, all of the workers, we all were concerned about it. When the idea came up for the lunches, we had planned on doing just one lunch, and that was a result of us planning to do lunches for the spring program, in which I believe it was, we shut down the week prior to the spring program starting. So we had already started the Easter egg hunt. We were making plans for that. It was the last day of the spring program. And so we had to, scramble with that. And what are we going to do? And we thought, well, we have already this in place. We're going to be doing the food. So let's do a meal. Let's take it out. Let's see what happens with that. And of course, that first Saturday, it was so well received.
Yes.
And we felt that connection. We did the books, the booklets to give to the kids to kind of try and help them get through this period of time, but keep that connection with them, keep a connection with the Bible. And we did that then, of course, every other week throughout this period of time. Last Saturday was the first Saturday we didn't do it. Every other Saturday since this began. And that the bus workers, even though there was always that risk, that we took, and we tried to protect ourselves, we tried to protect our kids, and a lot of things that we did with that to make sure, as we took the lunches out, that we weren't putting somebody in harm's way. But everybody just loved it. And I was so surprised. Even that first one, a lot of people just stayed in their cars. We took the lunches out to them, and some of us, of course, we did congregate just a little bit and enjoyed each other's company. But just everybody was super excited about it.
Should we give a shout out to Miss Holly Stanley?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's been a wonderful blessing throughout this whole thing, putting everything together, and then her little army of workers.
Yeah.
I mean, she just makes the call, and boom, she's got cookies. And, she has done phenomenal through this period of time, and keeping contact with all of our workers. And again, all of the bus workers. It's just even Sunday with the meeting after, the pews were filled.
Good.
Everybody came. Everybody's excited about it. And we love the bus ministry.
Absolutely. And SBBC has always been a bus ministry church, obviously.
Yes.
So let's talk about the comeback. You and I have had many conversations in the last few months. Church, that I've tried to have this as a measured, patient approach to begin to bring things back, and we feel like now it's okay. It's time to begin running our buses. But Brother Harris kind of has a game plan, and we want to talk to you about that real quick, so you know what to expect and can pray about that and such. So July 12th, this coming Sunday, is going to be the first Sunday back, but we're not bringing them into our buildings. Why don't you talk about how we're going to do that?
The idea is that we want to be able to have not only you as the church members to feel confident in coming to church, but also the bus parents.
Yes.
We're concerned about the bus kids, and we're concerned about the bus parents, and rightfully so. They're a little, leery, what's going to take place here. So we tried to put a plan together that would help everybody and their fears to feel as though, we can't say that you're not going to get, the flu or the, COVID-19, or we can't say that because we don't know. Right. But we can do the best that we can do to make it so that it's as safe as we possibly can. So, of course, what we have been hearing from the CDC, from the leadership, from our government, is open air, open air, open air. The more things that were opened up quickly, were opened up that were able to be open air. Right. And so there wasn't a closed environment. And so we felt like the picnic pavilion was a good venue for us, that we could use that. And then the idea was, let's separate from the main church service. So all of the precautions are being taken here, but we're going to take separate precautions there, and then we won't mix the two together for a little while. Then that way we felt as though that would be a safer environment. We're not allowing there to be a possibility of something coming across the two. So that's where we came up with the idea of and now it's possible because we have the bus garage, and that's been a wonderful blessing with the washrooms out there, and we couldn't have done it before.
That's good.
So the Lord's just put everything into place for us, that we do have the washrooms, and again, it's limited use. We're asking the parents, make sure the kids are taking care of those things before they leave. We've told the bus workers, don't do the normal fill them full of food and juice before they come to church, because they're going to need to go right out to the washroom. Do that on the way home. Right. But we do have those facilities now, and we are able to keep them clean. We are doing a shortened church. We're only going to do 40 minutes. We're going to go pick the kids up, bring them, have the junior church while they're having their church, their bus church. There will be those who will be disinfecting the sanitizing the buses. So it's going to be done in between time, and those will be washing the washrooms and making sure things are clean there. And we will have made sure that the pavilion is ready and that things are cared for there. A preacher got us temperature probes. We'll be shooting temperatures. And we will make sure that is seen to the community.
Absolutely.
So the worker will come down off of the bus, and they will shoot the temperature where people in the neighborhood can see, hey, they're taking care of this, and they have precautions. We're going to be sitting every other seat in the bus and offsetting, and we've got some ideas for that. The way we load the bus and the way we unload the bus, so they're never crossing. They are going to be able to get on and off the bus without ever having that physical contact with another rider. And same in the pavilion, we'll be able to keep a social distancing, and keep it so that we will be able to have them here, and we feel that it's going to be very safe for them. We'll be able to bring them back and to love on them. And I hear so much from our workers. They've been out taking out the lunches, and the kids, and some in tears, saying, we want to come back. You would have never thought that from a bus kid, would you?
I know.
But they are so ingrained. For a lot of them, this is their family.
Absolutely.
You are the ones that when you say hi to them, you see them in the hallway, in the educational building, and you speak to them, and you think they're just running past you and that they don't really care, or in junior church they're just a little bit misbehaving, but you're like a family member to them.
Amen.
And
Amen.
they desperately need this place. So it's good to see this coming back when we can love on them and show them we do care about them and we do love them.
Well, speaking of that, let me just dovetail with that then. Here's what I'm going to ask you, Shenandoah, to do on this coming Sunday, July the 12th. It is our first Sunday back, as we've just heard, and we want to welcome them back in a grand fashion. And really, I think we're able to do this because we've not started Sunday school back yet, because we just had the 10:45 service. So we're going to ask you to come early this Sunday. I'm asking even around 10 o'clock. Can you begin getting here and parking? Per normal, pulling into the parking lot and getting parked. But at 10:20 this coming Sunday, I would like to have a few hundred people lining the main drive of Shenandoah Bible Baptist Church off of Route 11. And so look, if you're going to get there late, you're not going to be able to drive in. You're going to have to go up the gravel lot there. But we are going to stage the buses where they will come in as a caravan to get here between 10:20, 10:22, 10:23, something like that, and slowly drive up into Shenandoah Bible Baptist Church, and let's welcome them back home. Maybe would you have your kids maybe make posters? I can just see posters and balloons, and we'll be cheering and letting them know that they have been missed and that they are very loved. And then, of course, when the buses all get in and get over to the pavilion, the rest of us will make our way then back into the main building. And everyone goes into the main building this week to begin with, seated as families like last Sunday. And then we will have our first junior church this Sunday too, but those kids will be dismissed from the service. So it's going to be a great day. We have wonderful things planned for you in the 10:45 service. So thank God for the bus ministry and for our bus workers. And let's just look at this as the next step, one more step of bringing SBBC back. Well, last thing I want to say really is, and again about Brother Harris, because he pastored for so many years, obviously he preached Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. He doesn't get that opportunity now as an associate pastor, but you will get to hear him a couple of times here in the next month. I'm taking my family vacation, my annual vacation here in a couple of Sundays, and so while I'm gone, all the staff guys are going to be get all the assistant pastors, I should say, are having an opportunity to preach. Brother Harris will run the services, though. He'll preach a couple of times, and so you'll get to hear him. He's a great Bible preacher, and you'll want to be here for that. I'm excited about the future of Shenandoah Bible Baptist Church. I really am. And having Brother Harris to add to our staff not quite a year ago has been another building block in that process. So thank you for listening. This was a little lengthier than normal, and but I just felt like that it would be good for you to get to know Brother Harris a little bit, see another side of him, and just to enjoy what God has done to bring together a great staff of men of God. And we're not perfect, but we're trying. We're trying to do what God's called us to do and to see the future of SBBC and to reach her potential. Well, have a great week, and we'll see you on Sunday. Again, 10:45 service, but once you get here about 10, we'll welcome our bus kids back. I love you. Bye-bye.